Welcome. This time I'll turn on my stream. Okay, so we're working on an app that's going to be a little toolkit for musicians, specifically dulcimer players. And we've done a tool to put in the first lines of songs in tab form. And today we want to get to the version of that in hammered form, in the form that hammered dulcimer players like, more like regular notes that most people who read music would understand. Before we get into that, I'd like to make the tab one a little more nice, that it would group things by sections according to tuning. All right, and while the camera was not rolling, but I was talking, we started that. So I made a test to know the tunings. So I create songs with explicit tunings. They're not in alphabetical order yet, but I would like them to be alphabetized and deduped, So if you have all those tunings, I'd like to see A, D, D, G, D in that order. Okay, so I initialized song 4 and didn't use it. Well, okay. That's still gonna fail because I just hard-coded an empty return in library. So we just started that first test. Okay, so well, if you want to find out the tunings, you're going to look at the song. So let's make songs. We'll map them to their tuning, and sorted is good, but maybe I have to. I don't know if I have a good way to convert it to a set. Other than, okay, we'll make a set out of this. Maybe I can do this in one line. Okay, can I convert set of tuning to result? Yeah. Okay, so let's do sorted, and that returns a list, so that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, I'd rather have more of a pipeline where I pump it into a set and then sort the result there. But let's see if this works. All right, and maybe, okay, well, that passes. That's good. Let's make library, no, it's tunings. Now, nothing is using that yet. And we'll just run. I messed something up. Oh, that's harmless. Okay. We don't use that yet, but there is something I changed that I want to show you. So before, if I hit the other tab, I probably want to call this name If I hit this, notice that it sort of the lines move around. So watch Angeline the Baker, and it's sliding up into place. And that is something I added in here. I just added dot animation on the end of the selection, and it builds in that automatically. Before it just went, complete instant transition. Now you get that little bit of animation. I think it looks good. All right, so what I'd like this to be, though, is I'd like to have sections that reflect the tunings. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so yeah, so I think this is less helpful now because we want to know we want to do this within the tunings. So I think you actually want to ask the contents for a tuning in order. All right. Well, let's see. Yeah. So contents of tuning in order, I guess, makes sense. So contents of, let's say, tuning DAD and alphabetic. Whoops, what's dot tab? Oh, that's its helpful thing. Okay, and then contents of tuning well, yeah, that should be okay. So we'll just put that in. We're not doing anything with it particularly. All right, but let's do this. Tuning. Somebody's going to be messed up. Contents. We'll use tuning DAD for the moment. And that shouldn't matter because these things don't have unique tunings in the tests. Okay, it's still running. We'll add a new test. So knows songs by tuning. And so let's take these. Oops. Okay, we'll put all these songs in. Okay, so the contents, let's do AAA. Should be alpha and delta. And I'm asking by alphabetic order. So it should come out alpha, delta. Okay, now that should fail. All right. And it should fetch everything. Yeah. Alphabet, delta, gamma. All right. And because yeah, I guess Greek is not alphabetized like English. Delta comes before gamma. Okay. Yeah. So let's filter these. Songs.filter where $0 tuning equals tuning. Okay, so I'm only pulling the songs that match the tuning, and which means I'm working my way through a list. You know, we could have a performance thing someday, but I don't think the list is not likely to get more than like 100 entries, so that won't be too bad. And we're working off the filtered list now, so here's hoping. Okay, and if we run, we'll see something a little different now because of the way we put that in. So we added this just to get things to compile, but that tuning is not, they're not all DAD, except now they will seem to be. All right, so we had Star of the County Down was in E minor, and Old Joe Clark was in D Mixolydian. Oh, the tuning is still DAD. Yeah, so this is a key versus the tuning. You can play a Mixolydian song in DAD, or you can play a major song. Okay, let's make this more interesting. So instead of contents, well, we're gonna do for each, and then for each something, song in. And then this is library dot tunings. And this is library.contents for tuning and sort order. All right, I think we can do that. Where's song? Kind of what we did before, I believe. Oh no. Requires conformance to switch. Yeah, let's add that for now. Okay. I think because I expect tuning to grow into its own class, I'm not going to worry about that future problem. Or if they did, I'm sure you'd get a warning at that time. Okay. So, let's run that again. Okay. One more try. All right, so they should be sorted now. So here's DAC, which comes before DAD. I don't think I'll need the tunings in this display. And then I got a bunch of DADs, and then a DAD capo 1, then DGD. Okay, so we successfully sorted and split them out by that. Now we want sections. I thought it was section header colon text of tuning. Is that the way that goes? I think so. Yeah. Okay, they're sorted within that. And if I do this, they're still within their categories. Okay. I mean, I think we can do a little more styling later on, but this is fine. This is what I want. Okay, I do think I'm going to change that to name. Library order. Come on. Yeah. Okay, well, that wasn't so bad. Well, that makes me wonder if the first line view is going to be reusable between Hammered and Mountain. Hammer doesn't want the tunings. Okay. Well, that's a problem for another day. Okay. Well, I guess I didn't put that up, but that's what that is. Okay. Yeah, so I did look around a bit to see what people do. I don't know, this circled for a half note seems fairly common. Um, but at least one of the other first lines things I looked at, they don't do the eighth note, so they would only do the full notes. And if a note holds, they would just use a slash. So instead of this zero inside it, they would do like zero slash. And I think also using a space instead of a bar line. So I don't think I want to make. Well, let's just do Angeline. Get one song in the style I'm talking about. Oh, there's Amazing. Wait a minute. Oh, I'm sorted by tab. Okay, so Amazing Grace. Yeah, let's do that one. And zero slash to drop the eighth note, change that to a space. 2 slash, oops, 1 space 0 slash 1 space 0 slash. On what basis do you propose those notes? Okay. Yeah, so I think, well, we do one more. Okay, so this one, the eighth note, we're going to drop, but then this becomes, it was dotted, so let's just do a, no, let's just pretend the eighth note aspect goes away. 0 slash slash 0 1 0 slash 1 slash. Okay, another thing is we don't really have to worry about the last measure because it's kind of what's ever in that line. Some lines end at the end of a measure, some go halfway through or whatever. I'm not going to sweat it. All right, so let's just run this again. And I'll add a task for switch to notation to tab with no eighth notes and slash instead of I'll say slash for extended notes. Okay. I think that's better. Yeah, I think that works. I think Angeline can, it actually does last a whole measure. Okay, let's commit that. Start converting tab to a simpler form. I think I've seen at least one that put dots in, like just a period to separate these, but I don't know. I think the space is okay. All right. So now we want to do the very similar first lines for hammer dulcimer. And let's go back to content view. Okay, and I kind of want to make these as this grows, I'm trying to put a little energy into the content view every time. So I think one thing is there's sort of a I'd kind of like to extract this. Maybe I should generalize or repeat it and then generalize it. But this, I think we could define something that's kind of a, I don't know. There's a difference between this one, which just goes out as a web link, opens up a web browser separately, and this one that navigates within the application. But we're going to take this as our basis for Hammer Dulcimer. And I think they can have the same icon. All right, and I also think that's enough for us to see if it does anything. Let's try it like this again. I know it's slow to start. And I'm going to rename this one. Well, what can we reuse? This. Okay. Oh, I changed views on it. It's the bad thing with that one. I tend to change views a lot. Okay. Acceptable. I'm not totally happy with that yellow. Okay. And I really like it to be kind of a 2x2 grid, but that's a future thing. All right, so this is good. Let's change this. And I think they are just different. I mean, they're structurally somewhat similar, but song first line view. Okay, and then this should also be MD for Mountain Dulcimer. Well, actually, maybe tab. And this one, maybe Mountain Dulcimer, I think is okay. All right. And back to content view. Okay. So now I want a first line view Hammer Dulcimer. And I'm going to duplicate this. And now can I copy? Yes. All right, so I should have essentially an identical thing because we haven't changed anything inside, but I do want to change them. Didn't do my preview-y stuff. Okay, so right now it just looks the same. Okay, and that's tab. All right, so I think the mountain dulcimer one, so it iterates through all cases. I don't want that anymore. I just want it to be name and tab. Okay. Okay. I'll take a preview. Okay, so we still have name and tab. That's good. All right, now the hammer dulcimer one. Well, I want a different concept, right? I want notes. So let's go back to this one. While I'm here, I'm going to take the tuning out because we're sorting by tuning at the top level. Okay. So we make first line view for mountain dulcimer. Don't display tuning. We created first line view for hammer dulcimer, but not changed yet. Okay, and then first line view hammer dulcimer. Well, the song view, we don't want to see the name, the key signature. We don't want the tuning because it doesn't even make sense. We do want the notes. Okay, so this is okay. Well, tab order is not. Song has no member notes. Oh yeah, okay. That's gonna come next. Okay. So I really just want to make a new type alias. Notes is string for now. And song should know its notes. And we'll default it. Okay, so that should not affect any tests. We will run it though because I need to make sure my JSON will load with those notes in it. Really hate that startup cost on those tests. Okay. Now we can put this back. And let's run the preview. Does he? sorry. Okay, oh, I left that saying tab. Let's make that notes. Okay. All right. So the other thing that we want to do here, well, I want to change the sort orders, but we don't want sections anymore. Oh, and that does change things, doesn't it? That kind of puts us back to wanting a contents with sort order and not restricted by tuning. Okay, so no songs by tuning. Let's do one. No songs by tuning. Let's do knows all songs. Okay, so I'm going to make a contents that doesn't take that other thing. And this should be alpha, beta, delta, gamma. Okay, contents.name. Okay, and this should return nothing. Yep. Okay, so, well, his implementation is really this again. Yeah, let's get it working and then we'll improve it. Okay. Well, obviously these things are identical. So let's make one that kind of the common case that takes the order and the songs. What do I want to call that? Candidates. Okay, that should still pass. Okay, and we'll run. So with this, now this view should show all, well, we're going to take that out. Hammer dulcimer. I guess I didn't use it yet. Okay, so he's still sorting by sections. Well, actually, is he? Yes. All right. So this, we're going to take out that. And we're just going to do song in. Okay, we still have the wrong cases. We don't support the third case yet, but we will. Yeah, so this should be the whole list in order. Nothing funny. Okay. Right. So let's check that in. Okay, and then we're going to add another test. No songs in alphabetical order. Let's get notes all songs first. Maybe these two. I'm trying to put it in an order that kind of makes sense from a thinking through the functionality point of view. It knows its tunings, it knows all songs. Let's swap that. It knows all songs, it knows the tunings. It knows the songs by tuning, it knows the songs in order. And let's add a last test. Knows songs in note order. Okay, so this should come first. Let's make this jump up. Okay, so this one should come after beta. I guess it should be gamma beta. Alpha. Okay, we don't have the notes sorting mechanism yet, so let's go to library. And this should be notes. We won't do any sorting yet, just to kind of pass the test. I would think other places reference these. Okay, maybe not. All right, so it came out in that order. Oh. Beta, oh, that is, oh, wait. Sorry, I want that. So gamma should come first, because lowercase, well, uppercase c precedes lowercase c in ASCII and Unicode. Okay, and then in our first line, and clear all these, it's kind of losing itself here. All right, this goes back to library order.name and library order.notes. Okay, so the two do work on different things. And then the song, name, key, time signature, notes. Okay, that seems okay. So we should see something with the Mountain Dulcimer one works with tabs and the Hammered works with notes. name and tab, and notes, AV, AVC, AVD, Ds, E's, F's, yeah. Okay, good. Now I don't think there's much distinctive about it. I've still got the wrong name on there. I don't know if these two things should have different colors or something, maybe. Okay, well, that little character, H or M, is the only thing that distinguishes these two. Well, and the fact that it's notes, I guess. All right, but that's good. So we're sorting by notes used in HD first line view. All right. I think let's take a break a little earlier today. I don't know if we'll take a second one or not, but we'll take one now. 3 or 4 minutes. Welcome back. Okay. I guess we allow sorting by notes. First lines for hammer dulcimer. That's kind of what we did. Okay. The next thing I want to do, well, again, before we go off to a new thing, I'll leave this for kind of an offline task. We'll pick one of these, and I want to do some work on the content view. I think the preview will suffice for that. So what I'm seeing between these two, at least, this form of navigation link and some view gets the title attached and a tile. All that to me feels like we should be able to parameterize this. So we have this name that shows up twice. I don't know what happens if I put a new line in there. I don't know, the look may be a little weird. That seems okay. I don't have to have that MD there. Same thing happens there. Okay. All right. So let's pull this up. Can I extract method? All right. So I think this is a It's not a tile view, it's a I don't know, tile something. Tile wrapper, tile maybe tile, Well, link isn't quite the right thing. Tile. I'll say wrapper. I don't know. That's a weak name. Okay, and then parameterize it. Oh. Excuse me. Okay, so I'm gonna move this up to being a struct. What are you talking about? Okay, so I need the library. Okay. And then we want to pass in, well, there's a title and there's a icon. Or, well, maybe it's a system name. Title is first lines \n MD. Okay. Property has no initial. Declares an opaque return type, but has no initializer expression from which to infer the underlying type. I don't want it to. Because I want this to be subview. Learning data structures and algorithms is necessary. Well, I think it definitely gets to be at some point. I mean, you get a lot of stuff in libraries now, and so I don't think it's as necessary to understand them as it was. But um, I don't know. I think you end up doing algorithms often enough that it's worth thinking about, and mostly like algorithms, you'll learn like the order of magnitude stuff. So um, a quick sort is n squared, but quick sort is n log n, but a bubble sort is n squared, and kind of the implications of that. Um, and I think even what I do now, like the we did a cache for something a little while back. Um, it's got its own characteristics, and it fits in that data structure mold. Um, but yeah, I think there's some decent books out, and different decent lessons and stuff on it. But yeah, I'm curious if there are people that don't use it now. Okay, I'm doing something really wrong. I'm trying to get this passed into this. Can I just say view? Oh gosh. Well, the big difference is the class. Um, the class has its own kind of persistence, and not persistence to disk, but it's a constant entity that can be changed. So it's basically a container of things, and you can have multiple people reference the container, and if you go change something in the container, those people all see the shared thing. With a struct, each struct can be its own independent object, and in effect, they're sort of they call them value objects. So it doesn't have its own identity per se, and so when you store a struct somewhere, you pass it around, you're getting one instance of it, but you're not sharing it. Well, unfortunately, I don't know if it's unfortunate. Structs do have, you can make them variable. So like this one right here, it's got these variable fields. Most of them could probably be lets actually, but the way they implement structs in effect, and I don't know what the real underlying stuff is, but if you have a variable that's a struct and you change a field, it's like you're replacing the whole thing, or it's kind of like you're replacing the whole thing. The nice thing with structs, I mean, if you use them without variable fields, they're just read-only objects, and you can pass those around and not worry that other people are going to touch it and stuff like that. But I'll say sometimes I still am not sure, should this be a struct or a class, and you sometimes decide one way and then have to change it. So yeah, it's a little tricky. It would be more clean in a way if they just said no, structs are read-only values and that's that. But the big thing that comes to is they do let you vary. And actually, there are things. I mean, arrays are defined as structs. So, Java just added record a couple of years ago, and that's probably the closest analog to struct in Java. But But anyway, arrays, the compiler definitely has tricks to know, like, are you updating this array and stuff like that. But, I think that's pretty deep in the bag of tricks. They do things like, monitor if a sub, or if you call it and pass an array, does it get changed and stuff like that. It monitors and reuses space, and there's like functional language tricks that deal with read-only objects. But yeah, I was using classes more a year ago than I am now. I tend to default to struct and then make it a class if I need that sort of shared aspect of it, that multiple things want to change it and they want to make sure they change the same object and all that. But most of the time I tend to use structs. I think in these, I'm just defaulting to using a struct for them. And if there's some reason that won't work, I'll deal with it. But I'm not doing anything shared, so I don't have to worry about it for these objects. Excuse me. But, you asking that question makes me go like, well, wait a minute. Why are these vars again? I guess these are because, well, I don't know if the decodable stuff needs it or not. But these, where to go? These don't need to be, because I'm going to set them and then I'm not going to change them. I don't think I need a library if I get this other thing working. But I don't think it'll help to say that. Now, I saw this. Where did I see this? It must be the help. I know there's a build expression thing that maybe I'm just walking around something tricky. So the problem I'm having here is I want to pass the first line view thing. Well, let me take this out and get the braces consistent. Okay, so I want to pass the actual view that does the display. I want this to be sort of like VStack or something, that it just has some stuff in it. And then the same thing here. This is going to be a different call, first line view HD, and it's contained in there. But I'm not doing this right. I think maybe I need to. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's everything you learn is going to help at some point, if you're new at things. But I'm enjoying working with Swift UI for the most part. I get stuff like this. I think there's this at build expression thing. Maybe this will explain it. It may be too much to ask. No. Okay, I want to say Swift UI pass view. Okay, that's kind of thing. View builder. Okay, yeah, that's the thing I want on this. Oh, and I gotta make it content of view. Okay. So view builder turns it into not having the arguments. Understand things behind it, right? State equals. Yeah, I definitely remember sitting down, and I don't remember the results now, which is probably bad. But sitting down and trying to demonstrate to myself, like, here's a class, set the field, monitor it. Here's a struct, set the field, monitor it. Change the value of the field. Does the previous variable that holds it? So if I say F or x equals some struct, create a new struct, y equals x, and then change x, does it change y? And do that for structs and do it for classes and kind of make sure that's there. I mean, I think in a way the magic, like, I think they've done pretty well in exposing the magic. It's hidden, but the mechanisms that work are right there to use. So they could have defined things so that container objects, you couldn't write your own. But this view builder thing, I mean, there's nothing that's going to make you guess it's there, but it is a facility that's in the language that you can use to do things like they do. And I think macros are kind of the same thing. The preview stuff is all macros now, and some of the view stuff is macros. It really does seem to be available to you to use. Now you can get yourself in trouble. You can redefine things or whatever, but a lot of it's visible, or can be. Okay, so I got to do content. View, and then this is at view builder, let subview be of content view, right? The content of content, and then in the body you just use it like directly, no parens. All right. And so now this content declared as a parameter to type, specify the generic arguments to fix this issue. Cannot return expression of. Okay, so that's the container. It takes a content, it has a view, and then in the body we reference the content. This lets you put simple views inside. Okay, so simple view says container, and then I just put this in there. And then I can also do flags and switches. Okay. Generic parameter content could not be inferred. Now, I don't know if I can say some view here. Or is it this? Cannot convert to type content view. Swift's, well, I'm not a beginner, so it's hard for me to say. There are a lot of data types, but like Java and C++ both have accumulated quite a few as well. Yeah, that's hard to know. I mean, I think there are beginner things you can do with it, and that's okay. But if you drop into somebody's stuff and they're using more complicated things, you kind of have to figure it out. But I do think, like, if you learn list, I mean, there's list, set, dictionary, like those three are the data structures I use by far the most. I don't know everything about them. I have to look up stuff often enough, but for day-to-day use, they're pretty good. And I can go a long way with those. But what is going on here? He is a view. No content view. Oh, I don't have to say the function thing. That's all right. Yeah, so you're seeing me stumble my way through this piece. Oh, no, subview is content view. What kind of content? Oh, I changed the name. Okay. Yep. All right, and then I don't think I need to say this. I think he can infer it if I spell it right. Okay, I called it content view instead of content. Okay, so, whew, let's see if this thing previews it okay. But I will say, the two sites, Codeco, Kodeco, and Hacking with Swift, both of them have a ton of material. And I don't know if you've looked at the 100 Days of Swift stuff that Paul Hudson has, but that stuff is definitely worth looking at. It's, I don't know, I signed up for his super duper thing, although I'm not like trying to get, I'm just kind of digging in where I want to, on things. But he's just introduced a ton more material in the last few months and a kind of a different price structure and stuff. But there's an amazing amount of stuff there. And I used Codeco most of the time until I really kind of caught on to Hacking with Swift. Also has a ton of video examples and a ton of just kind of walk through text examples and things like that. Both have been very helpful for me. All right, well, that appears to be going. All right, this one shouldn't be changed. But now the trick is, can we do tile wrapper with this? And I think at this point, I don't need a library anymore because that's nothing to do with the navigation link stuff. That was passed in because the inner subview needed it. Okay, so I'm going to take out library. Notice library is still referenced in here because it depends on the library. Okay, and let's do this one, tile wrapper. System name is one.square again. And now I lose this, keep that, lose this. Okay. And that's still showing, and that looks right. Okay. All right, then the second thing I want to do, well, let's pull this out before we go too far. I don't know if I've done view builders so far. Limit vertical white space to a single empty line. That looks like a single empty line to me. We may have to do, there's some trick we did to pull out the initialization stuff so it doesn't affect the unit tests. It shouldn't, I don't feel like you should have to do this, but apparently you do. All right, so pull tile wrapper to its own file. Okay, the next thing I wanted to try, I put in a picture. I lived in a historic house, and this was, I think it's the floor. But I want to use this for a background and see if that gives it a little nicer look, a little warmer, or, and I think it kind of fits because, I mean, dulcimers are wooden instruments, you know, so it kind of is related anyway. That I think will go in here, and we're just going to put image. I'm going to take this color out. Take that out for a moment. Image. I think I can do this one. Why aren't you working? Now I need to do some stretching and that sort of thing, but we're not getting anything. Right, those are good. Frame midwidth will keep other views like large text in the frame. Well, there's the background way. Image resizable, ignore safe area all. All right, let's see if this would work if I didn't include this. No. If I say resizable, scale to fill, scale this view to its parent, maintaining the view's aspect ratio. Well, let's try scale to fit. Well, that's what we're doing. We've got a Z-stack. Ignore safe area. Now if I put color green. So my image is not showing up. Have I done something wrong? Boards.jpg. No. Okay, my board by itself is not coming through. You. Oh. Why? That's there. Yeah, you can definitely extend these things. That's kind of handy sometimes. Oh, maybe I can say decorative. At least to get rid of the warning. Well, this is bad. Why are you not? Okay, let's try again. No, there's background. Apparently everybody likes that better. Let's see if I can make that work. Image resizable scale to fill. He doesn't seem to show. Okay. Or the Z stack, which is what we try to do. Yeah, opacity might be nice, but so am I loading the image wrong somehow? Oh, he doesn't say .jpeg, maybe, or whatever's. I think this is where I started. Yeah. Image boards. It's not the JPEG. That's the one I was thinking. Pink, JPEG, HEIZ, more. Okay. Oh, am I supposed to have this in the asset library? I guess I should worry about getting it there first. Okay, now we're getting there. Decorative. Scale to fill. Ignore safe area. Now, I don't know if my orange will show up there. No, it's not really very good. I think taking this out might be better with white. Yeah. Okay. Oh, that was painful. All right. So how's that looking? So we got the image. Ignore safe area. Resizable should matter. So notice it's one big board. No. Well, also those went away. I don't know what's going on there. All right. Okay. Mudshark's not here today, but this was his suggestion. Was boards might be a nice look, and I think that's good. Now the other thing. All right. Maybe I'll stop here on content view. All right, yeah. Let's look at our next tools. All right, so this one is input based. We'd take a sound coming in off the mic and try and decide what the pitch was. Gosh, I know I found a library that was supposed to like basically do that. I may have to look for that again. The metronome is it makes a regular ticking sound so you can practice your rhythm. Chord charts. Yeah. The one I do, let's see if I can let me find this first. All right, so this is the one I do. I have, well, basically it's organized by tuning. So AAA, the 111 is like first note of the scale. 144 D, so D E F G. The 4 is G, so it's telling you this in terms of like interval relationships. But I have one file per tuning, and then every time we play a song in a jam I'm in, I keep track of what date we played it, and sometimes I have, well, let's see, I might have an alternate name for something. I'm not going to find one now, of course. Sometimes the titles are a little flexible. And I'll have notes, traditional source osmosis, I'll meet a riddle, Froggy went a corn. And these are lyrics from it. Rocks drop by, Mr. Gambo, Wemo, Wimo, Chemo, Chymo. Galway Piper see Prince William. Okay, let's go see Prince William. But I've been doing this for years now. I mean, a few years. Looks like 3 years. Prince William. Okay, so, and I just keep track of the date for each one. And it just gives me, like, I can, if I don't recognize one, oh, we might play it in a different tuning. But I'd like to have something that, well, I'd like to be able to enter them very easily. Like I want to type rock, and it pops up Rock the Cradle Joe, Rock in a Weary Land, or, you know, you can write your own. And if I don't see it, you know, like Valley Forge is not in here because I think it's another key. But, you know, if I did play Valley Forge in DGD tuning, I would, I'd have to create a new entry. So I want something like this that would be relatively easy to enter in, and then I could look at them, and I guess again, like I could sort them by, well, by name for sure, and then I think it'd be nice to sort them by last played, and then maybe also, maybe like the count. You know, what's the most popular songs? Well, Walking in the Parlor was pretty good, but Snow Deer's got it beat. And Old Granny Blair's hanging in there. I'm trying to think what a G tune that's very common. Old Squirrel Eating Up the New Ground Corn. Some of these names. Down the Road we play a fair bit. Yeah. Okay, so the entities we're looking at, they have a name, they have a tuning, they have comments at the song level, And then they have the date, and they have date comments at the date level. Okay, so like this one's usually DGD, but for whatever reason we played it in CFC. Probably easier to sing that night or something. That's relatively rare. I mean, I'm not seeing any that are like that. Any others, but it does happen. Yeah, we played a version of Liza Jane by Fiddlin' Bill Hensley, who got mad and shot a man for sitting in his chair. Like, okay. So anyway, the entities. Let's see. Let's make this into stories. So, this is Jamlog. All right, and so we need entries per song by tuning, and entry on date. We want comments in song, let's say at song or date level. We want to sort by name, sort by count. I'll say popularity. Sort by last played. Okay. And then this needs to be quick entry. I don't want to fight. And so that may involve what do you call it? Autocomplete kind of thing. Excuse me. Now, those could be sorted by tuning just like the others are. I mean, it's just this is a pretty big list. It's a fair bit of DAAs, but like DAD is the dominator. It's got 3 times as much as anything else. DGD is pretty close second, and then EAE is like DGD. Okay. Right. So I think this is. Well, I think the songs that we have in our library should be candidates for popping up too. Okay, but let's get the basics, and then we got to store this stuff somewhere. Oh, that's a whole thing. Yeah, let's ignore the storage for the moment, but it can't be ignored forever. I mean, should this be SQLite? Our experience with core data, Swift data. The stuff we tried to do with core data got very quickly buried, but maybe there's a use case for it, or we tried to do with Swift data. I think it was. Okay. So a song. Why is a song not the same as our other songs, right? Yeah, I think this song is kind of okay, but we have another entity that's like playing, or I want to think of it as a transaction, right? That I performed this song on this date, or I mean, it's really that we played this song on this date. And so there's a relationship or another table. Yeah, maybe it's another table that's like, for a given song, what dates? Well, it's dates plus, isn't it? Right, because we have these things in parentheses, so it's a note for that date. So that makes it its own entity. Bunkum with a B, isn't it? What would I call a date plus a note? And I don't know, do I have another word besides note? Because that's definitely overloaded in a musical sense. Maybe it's a performance is the name of that. Memo, that would be okay. Remarks, I could see remarks. Okay. So, yeah, let's call that a performance. Okay. And I don't... Oh, what's this got? Oh, a spacing thing. Okay. Okay, so song, and let's create performance. No, I know dates get pretty messy, but let date be of date, and let remarks be of string. And then I don't know what the relationship object is. Performance. Maybe performance is the relationship. Should that be the ID? Okay. Yeah. Probably wants foundation. Okay. Well, I'm gonna start up at the top again. Let's make a new tile. Content view. Now we have our tile wrapper. Let's do that. Tile wrapper. Title is jam log. System name. Well, it could be some sort of pencil thing. Pencil.line, maybe? Maybe a disk drive kind of thing. Or maybe a list like that. List.bullet.rectangle.portrait. These are all subject to, calendar might be nice. Yeah, let's use calendar. Okay. All right. Well, we got a placeholder. Okay, well, the view is somewhat like the first lines, I guess. So let's make a jam log. Didn't rename that part. Now I want its library. It's annoyingly slow. Okay, we restructured the folders, introduced jam log view. Okay, and he's going to need, I guess he's going to need performances. All right. Well, let's start with just array. Okay, now it's previewable, I hope. Okay, all that to get there. All right, so jam log view. I guess what we're gonna do is, well, we're gonna wrap this class, but let's get some tests in first. So the thing we want to ask is, well, I guess it's kind of like the other. We want to know the tunings of all these songs. Okay. I think we'll have just enough time to put the test framework up and not much time to do anything with it. I think it's kind of the same thing. Knows the tunings used. I think that gets us the current date, and we'll take empty remarks. Okay, and then song 4 is AAA, song 2 is DGD. So I think that's what we'd expect. Okay, but not library.tunings. It's let I might need a name for the entity. Oh, maybe this is jam. Log, and this should be a jam log. Okay. Well, that gives us syntax level error to start with. We'll pick up there tomorrow. So 2 to 4:30 Eastern Time, or 7 to 9:30 p.m. UTC. We will pick up with this jam log and carry on from there. Thanks for joining today. Have a good night. Bye-bye.